Cichlid from Panama.
Wow. Look at those eyes.
This is the best I've seen this species of fish showcased.
And these mollies. This is like the most beautiful molly I've ever seen in my life. Hi guys. I don't want to speak loudly because it seems so peaceful. This is amazing. How many different types of wood do you have in here, David?
Yes.
It's like one of the best Biotope aquascapes I've ever seen, actually. It's really like struck a chord with me for some reason. It's only got like IKEA lighting. Is this a fern like a house plant you just bought from yeah. But this is home to Biotope for black neon tetras, Hyphessa bricon, Herbert axelrodi. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, did well. I'm in David.
Hello.
David's home with Ty.
Hey guys.
And David's kindly invited us to see his two beautiful Biotope aquascapes. And this is the first one for black neon tetras. And this was originally inspired by one of your photos from nature.
So the black neons in the wild. And I was commenting to David that his black neons are the closest to any wild looking ones I've seen.
Because they're not too big and
They're
chunky.
not too chunky, but they're active. They're really, the colour on them is that distinct gold, which I think is also because they're in a black water display.
Yeah.
They're really confident, aren't they? They want to come and be fed.
They do.
And they want to be in there.
But it's not too black water. You can still kind of see through it, and I just think it's.
Reminds me a lot of the habitat.
I love it. It's something special about having our tank kind of half filled as well. I know we're doing this for the Aquatic Habitats book. You know, a lot of half filled aquariums. It's just so natural. I mean, this area here, I don't know why. I'm just absolutely just look so natural. All the different grades of gravel, sand, driftwood.
The way that the light dapples over the substrate is really nice as well.
Yeah, the lighting really does play an important part. And the funny thing is, it's not expensive lights. It's just like IKEA.
There's two things that really do it for me. Is one, there's not a lot of fish in the display. It's really only, I mean, there's a Histogramma trifasciata in here, but the focus is on this one little species.
Yeah.
And that's where your attention goes. And then they really jump out at you, because if they were in a community tank, you wouldn't notice them as much.
Yeah.
The other thing is the root network of the marginal plants. That is exactly how I
see it in nature.
That's how I see it in nature.
Yeah.
So when I see that little part, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of where I was last December in a black neon stream in Brazil. You can suspend your disbelief that this is a tank in a nice, beautiful Danish living room. So it's really
It's outstanding.
This is the best I've seen this species of fish showcased.
Because you've seen it for real in the nature.
Yeah.
And this is like, because they get bigger and fatter in our home aquariums, don't they? Because I guess they're spoiled, right? They get fed. They've got no.
They're not pursued around by predators and all the other stresses, environmental stress of predation. Trying to find food at certain times of the year can be really difficult. Yeah. We give them high quality, protein-rich foods every day.
Yes.
All their lives.
Yeah. And that's not what they get in nature.
It's like the McDonald's of the fish world.
Yeah.
These ones are lean and lovely. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I like the areas of dark that David's created, so the fish disappear.
Yeah.
And here you actually see one of the evolutionary traits, like why do they have this bright lateral stripe? Well, because when they're in light areas, it reflects the light, and when they're in a group together, it's confusing to predators. Yeah. But you watch, as soon as they go into a shaded area, they disappear, because it's not that they glow, they reflect the light or the absence of light.
Yeah.
So when they go into the dark, they become invisible.
Interesting.
There's a little tiny corridors back there.
Yeah. That's a group.
Is this Hasbrosis?
Yeah. It is.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Little cryptic, like you're looking at the tank and then you notice something else.
Yeah.
That's really lovely.
That's the part that wasn't in your habitat in our original place, but
there were corridors.
Had to have them. But
To be honest, the corridors that I saw in the black neon habitat that I visited last year was Corridorus areo, which you can't get in the hobby anyway.
And they're too big.
And they're too big.
Yeah. So
And you would see baby corries anyway, and these guys look like baby corridoras, so it's got the stamp of approval from me.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things, like it's the atmosphere that is important, not so much as like the accuracy of, well, you have to have exactly this fish or this plant. You know, there's no IKEA lamps in the Brazilian streams either, but hey, it looks really good here.
I don't know why I find it so enchanting. Is it like the above water and the below water? It's almost, so the tank's kind of half full and you've got all this emergent growth. Is this like a philodendron or pothos? You've got some, what's this one here? Is that a hydrocotyle? What's this species, David?
Yeah, what's that species there? I can figure it out. Because I wrote it down. Not to forget it.
Is it an aquatic plant or?
No, it's all from botanicals.
Oh, okay.
Household plants.
Wow.
Pilia de Presa.
Okay.
I guess.
Outstanding. Absolutely love this. Should we go and look at let's go and look at the big tank. Because this is arguably even more impressive from a size perspective at least. Okay. So this is a Jewel Rio 400?
Jewel 450.
450?
Yeah.
Wow. Firemouth cichlids. Absolutely beautiful. Look at these. And these mollies. This is like the most beautiful molly I've ever seen in my life.
It's like the Elton John of mollies. Look at him,
He's like showing off.
and he's all flashy and gaudy and beautiful.
I don't know why, it just looks so at home. It looks at home because it's a home for him. It's like a proper...
It's happy.
So have you entered into contests with your biotopes?
Yeah.
Yeah? And have you won stuff?
I won with this one.
Oh wow, okay, there we go. I'm not surprised, yeah. So this won?
Yeah.
This won first place?
Yeah.
Which contest?
Aquarium Biotope contest.
Oh wow, okay. I'm really falling in love with biotopes, honestly. What did we talk about earlier, Ty? You know, building up a relationship with something is all about proximity, intensity, and duration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the closer you are, the more time you spend, and the more intense that time is, the more connected you get with something. And I think that's like with biotopes. I've spent so much time with you. Yeah, we did a biotope aquascape yesterday.
Corrupting you.
I wouldn't say corruption. I think it's the opposite, really. This is amazing. How many different types of wood do you have in here, David?
Yes.
Too many.
The answer is yes. But it all. I mean, this is really interesting because normally when I talk to aquascapers or do workshops, I say, stick to one type of wood because it looks more natural. But this is completely contradicting.
There's three main.
Okay.
There's the classic.
You got the classic kind of,
Grove.
yeah, and then you have the Redmore root.
Yeah, and then there's some I've found on the local beach.
Oh wow! Is this stuff here?
Actually, the big. This.
Oh, this you found at the beach.
And also the
Steep. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Really nice.
This claim of one kind looks more natural. Yeah, maybe that works if the forest has one species of tree in it.
Yeah.
And all the wood fell in at the same time.
Yeah.
And has aged in the same way.
Yeah.
It's when you go to the habitats, you find all kinds of wood because there's all kinds of trees and different pieces have been in there longer than others, and the textures and the color combinations in here are really nice. So I think, this is part of what makes it. If it was all the same piece of wood,
it wouldn't look so natural.
It would.
A bit contrived.
Forced.
Yeah.
It would be too much as well.
Yeah.
But you've got relief in the colours and the textures. But how cool to just have this in a family space.
I know. I'd be so happy with. I used to love fish as a kid. You know, when I think my first ever aquarium experience was when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I was just transfixed.
Well, your first fish that you remember is a neon tetra.
Neon tetra, and it's my favourite fish.
And my first fish is a green neon tetra.
And that's your favourite fish.
Yeah, you know, my backstory is that I was basically neglected. So my mum would leave me with a babysitter. Not blaming my mum,
No.
but would leave me with a babysitter between the ages of 1 and 3 or so, who did nothing with me all day. I had no toys, no books, nothing, no stimulus. I was put on a sofa and left there. But this lady's boyfriend had tanks in the living room. And I remember vividly just sitting on the floor and looking up at these tanks because it was the only stimulation. And in my mind's eye, I can picture very clearly the green neons and neon tetras in those tanks.
Wow.
And
How old were you then?
I would have been about 2.5 to 3. These are some of my earliest memories.
Wow.
And then by the time I was 3, I was just absolutely fish mad, unsurprisingly. And yeah, so that neglect led to a passion.
So from the darkness comes the light.
Yeah, as long as it's LED light and it supports plant growth. No, but yeah, and those memories came back to me came very late. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that I remembered that, and it was whilst I was looking at fish tanks, I think, and it suddenly came to me that's what my experience was at that place. So I think, yeah.
Stunning. I just want to throw away all my plants and do biotopes.
Hang on, we have been saying that you can have biotopes that have plants in.
Well, not all the plants.
Not all the plants, just
But
the cultivars.
But the connection you feel with the fish, and you know you're creating something that they really appreciate, and you're doing it for them. You're not doing it for you. Whereas with aquascaping, it's just for you, and they're almost like a commodity to satisfy your own aesthetic sensibility.
Doing a biotope is halfway to ego death.
Yes, ego death. That's what it's all
This is what I've
about.
been learning about from you. The abandoning of ego in favour of a purpose.
Yeah. You're truly caring for something. It's service before self, basically.
Well, the reason I say halfway is because you design a biotope because you like biotopes and you think they're beautiful. But the payoff is that, in this tank, the habitat has been created where the fish feel comfortable and relaxed. You know, there's a lot of tanks where you might see fire mass cichlids put together. Yeah. It's not a very happy tank because they can be testy, they can be aggressive, there's bickering, and there's the occasional little, peck here and there. There's loads of cover for them to go into. There's distinct territories. There's places they can hide. They can move out of the way. Yeah. David has told us that they've already spawned in here. These are not unhappy fish.
No. David.
Yeah.
How long has this tank been running?
It's been running for about 3 months, I guess.
3 months?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Perhaps 4. But it was in the summer I put them in there.
That's beautiful.
There's some little challenging behaviour going on between those.
So we talk about the individual fish species. So I'm really curious about this one. This looks like a convict cichlid, but with yellow.
Yeah, it is. It's a Cryptoheros nanogluteus cichlid from Panama.
Wow! Look at those eyes.
They are beautiful.
And they're not really belonging in there because they are from another country in Central America, but
we can use some artistic licensing. There's no problem with that. And you have mollies. Yeah. This one here, it's a showstopper. It's literally the best molly in the world. Okay.
It's lovely.
It's massive as well. When I saw your photos, I thought it was smaller, but he's really chunky.
I saw some videos from Mexican cenotes where they live, and I was just amazed. I thought this can be real, and I was thinking you can have that behavior in an aquarium. Yeah. But then again, if I can just have 10% of that behavior, it would be great. But he's actually behaving very much like the videos I saw. So it's perfect.
Was that a cenote habitat full of water lilies? The red lilies, yeah. So JBL years ago had a catalogue of their products.
Yeah.
And one of their photos from Central America was a large shoal of sailfin mollies moving through red lilies in a cenote.
Wow.
And I always thought, one day I want to recreate that.
Yeah.
And that's something that
We can do it in the book.
George and I are going to do for the Biotope book. And even more so now I've seen how lovely they are in here.
We can really use the book to indulge ourselves, can't we?
Well, that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, this is a good project. You know, we can like network and do some cool stuff. But now I'm like really connecting with the fish and understanding on a deeper level.
But it's a funny thing with the big molly, because it was actually this male up here that was the dominating when I introduced him to the tank. But he's not displaying the same coloration. So I was removing him for about 14 days or something, and putting him to isolation. And then the other guy could, take over and being
That's clever.
the dominant male, and I put him back. And now they're just showing that natural behavior.
And I suppose that avoided conflicts as well between potential one getting harassed until he finds
this male was too bullying around with the females. He was just nudging them all the time and being stressful to everyone. So after he was removed, it felt totally...
It changed the environment.
Yeah, but it was kind of too easy. It was too calming, because he was never showing his sail, because there was no one to
challenge.
Yeah, of course.
So when he came back, I had the things I wanted.
These little Panamanian cichlids have won me over.
Are these fire mouths?
The fire mouths are one, but the little...
the little convict lookalikes with yellow on them.
And if I keep them in for a long enough time, they will take over, because they're more aggressive than the fire mouth.
Right now they're cute and sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how big do they get?
10 centimeters.
Yeah, about 10 centimeters.
Yeah, okay.
The fire mouths will get a bit larger too.
Yeah, and much chunkier.
I've seen one adult male where I just came up to the tank and he immediately flared at me.
Yeah.
I thought if there was no glass between us, I would be in trouble. Like, he was so...
I saw one in the shop once also, and I was thinking, what kind of species is that? Is that a fire mouth? It was just twice the size I've ever seen. So.
And my friend James Sampson in the UK, he's works with one of the shops that's supporting the book project, and we separated some fire mouths, as I told you, and he just messaged me now. I was like, James, look at the fire mouths. He was like, yep, we've already got one pair that have formed together, and the other ones are colouring up, and they're looking good. And seeing them here like this just makes me like, I really want to set up that tank for them now,
And they're actually a bit dull in the colour today. It's not, they're sometimes when the biggest male is in the mood, he's full of stripes.
Do you find that when one of them is in the mood, that triggers a general kind of raising of colour?
Yeah, and some of them, they are just going totally off, turning the whole coloration off, and stays in the corners when
they switch off.
Yeah, switch off.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But sometimes they're all bullying around, sometimes they all just swing around like a school. And it's really, I really find their behavior great.
This is the charm of cichlids, isn't it? The behavior.
Some cichlids, but I really had a lot of cichlids that just
sat there
bullying around all the time.
I'm so inspired. I really am. I'm going to leave it there because we've been recording for nearly half an hour. My phone's going to run out of memory. Right. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed that. A super insightful tour of David's beautiful Biotope aquariums. I'll leave links to his Instagram. And what other? Do you have YouTube or anything like that?
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah, but maybe it might be bigger. Yeah. But if you're inspired by biotopes, let us know in the comments. And I'm so grateful to David and for Ty. Just kind of Ty's introduction to David. I think we kind of followed each other, so we've known each other kind of. But yeah, I'm just so grateful to be invited into another beautiful home and see some super inspirational Biotope aquascapes. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. You take care, keep on scaping. Cheerio.